Let's bring in ABC News senior reporter Catherine Falders, who's there at court, along with former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani for more. Neama, how serious are these charges, and how strong is the special counsel's case?
These are very serious charges, and if you read the indictment, this is read for public consumption, and special counsel Jack Smith asked the American people to take a look and read the allegations in the indictment. He wants the American people to know that these charges are a direct assault on our democracy, and obviously it culminated with the Capitol riots on January 6th. But you're looking at counts that carry a 5 or 10-year potential prison sentence. And of course, someone Donald Trump's age, 77 years old, this may be a death sentence for the former president if he's indeed convicted, because this judge is not going to take these types of charges lightly. I mean, you're talking about a judge in Tanya Chutkan that has been the harshest sentencer when it comes to the Capitol riots of all the District of Columbia judges. So this is not a favorable draw for the former president. So if he's indeed convicted, he can be sentenced up to the max, and this is a judge that's probably not going to give him a break or any type of probation sentence.
Catherine, the indictment lists 6 unnamed co-conspirators. What do we know about them at this point?
Yeah, it does. And we were able to match some of these names from public reporting that has already been out there and that we have done. Many of these co-conspirators are lawyers who are offering Trump false advice. For example, Rudy Giuliani, the indictment alleges that he was knowingly spreading false information. John Eastman, another one of those lawyers who was advising Trump in the lead up to January 6th and implementing a plan where he believed that the former vice president could halt the certification of the election, for example, on Capitol Hill. So the other one here is Jeff Clark. He is important because he's a former DOJ official, a senior DOJ official who the former president at one point wanted to make his attorney general. He was writing letters to states, including Georgia, to try and get state legislators to halt the certification, claiming false election fraud claims, for example. So we know many of these co-conspirators for, again, what has been publicly reported through our reporting and out there from comments that they've made publicly. They haven't commented yet on this indictment. We don't know, for example, if we'll see more charges in this, but it is clear that the Justice Department and the special counsel has zeroed in on these co-conspirators.
Neama, the defendants are accused of organizing fraudulent slates of electors and pressuring officials to accept their false votes. Trump denies all wrongdoing. So how do you expect his legal team to mount their defense to that charge?
Well, I'm not surprised the former president is denying the allegations. Most criminal defendants do, and that's really par for the course for Donald Trump. But what you want to do if you're representing Donald Trump, hopefully he follows your advice, is you want to obviously delay this case, because if he regains the White House, it's well established that a sitting president can't be prosecuted, so everything goes away. But short of delay, if you really want to litigate this case on the merits, you want to attack that knowledge and intent. You want to argue to potential jurors that Donald Trump was just auditing the 2020 election results, or that he was following the advice of his lawyers, and that even though this was aggressive lawyering, this didn't cross the line to criminal conduct. Not saying I agree, but this is a case that can be defended on the merits, because really the prosecution here has to prove that knowledge, has to prove that intent. And that's why so much of the indictment contains information that Trump knew that this was all a lie. But if he can prove to those jurors or establish some sort of reasonable doubt that he truly believed that the election was stolen from him, then he's going to get acquitted.
Neama, if he did believe that the election was truly stolen, are you saying it would still be legal for him to have done these things that he's accused of doing, setting up fake electors and other things along those lines?
Well, Diane, conspiracy is an unlawful agreement. So the object of the conspiracy has to be unlawful. So, for the prosecution in any criminal case, they have to prove that intent, that guilty mind, that mens rea. So if Donald Trump truly and legitimately believed that he was doing an audit, or he was following his lawyer's advice, then he gets off. Now, obviously, what the prosecution will argue is that the fake electors, no reasonable person could have possibly thought that that is a legitimate legal argument. So that's where the argument's going to come to in this case.
And Catherine, how are Trump's Republican rivals and allies responding?
Well, it's been a pretty typical response for Trump's allies on Capitol Hill. For example, they have said that the Department of Justice has weaponized the #3 Republican on Capitol Hill. Elise Stefanik has called this a sham, for example, this indictment. But the most interesting reaction, I think, comes from the former Vice President Mike Pence. Now, while he does mention Hunter Biden and some corruption associated with that investigation, Pence does say that the indictment serves as an important reminder anyone who puts himself above the Constitution should never be president of the United States. Of course, this indictment mentions Pence multiple times, given that Trump and his lawyers were trying to halt his certification of the election.
All right, Catherine Falders, Neama Rahmani, thank you both.